Hi, I'm Pam Fox. Thank you for watching my channel. So I broke my collarbone. Unfortunately, I broke my collarbone and I did it biking, which was really disappointing. I started riding my bike in June. It was a goal of mine this year to ride my bike to work. Started riding my bike, was really enjoying it, was really noticing benefits from it. And what happened was I was going around a blind corner on a trail, and I slowed down and I stayed to the right. I rang my bell, but I didn't slow down enough. And so that was a hard lesson that I learned, to really slow down on those blind corners, 100% blind corners on a trail where you can't see what's coming on the other side. When I got around to the other side, there were two little kids, and I don't know what happened. My skills aren't that great. I admit I need to improve my cycling skills. I'm fairly new to this. I haven't really ridden my bike since I was a kid much. So yeah, I came around the corner, there they were, and I think I put on my brakes and I just went flying. Anyway, I broke my collarbone, and I just want to talk about some of the things. I got online as soon as this happened, and I wanted to find out, what could I be doing to optimize healing in this broken bone. And so I just want to share 4 different things that I think are really important. So obviously, number 1 is your diet, and making sure they're eating foods that are rich in minerals and in calcium. Foods such as leafy green vegetables, of course. And I made some sesame milk. Sesame seeds are really high in calcium. And I found this recipe on YouTube. It's just, you take a cup of sesame seeds and you soak them for 24 hours. You rinse them, you put them in your blender with a couple of cups of filtered water. Blend it on high until it makes a nice creamy milk. And then you strain that and you've got a nice milk. Has a funny kind of a bitter taste to it, almost like mature salad greens do. So it's not that enjoyable, but I eat it on my oatmeal with a little bit of sugar, and I don't notice the bitter aftertaste quite so much. But it's super high in calcium. So yeah, just make sure you're eating a diet rich in plant-based foods that are high in minerals, especially calcium. Number 2 is rest and hydration. So again, when we rest, that is the body's optimal time of repairing and healing. So it's important that you get good sleep. When you're coming out of an injury like this, I have multiple injuries, so sleeping is difficult. I have pain, I have stiffness, I'm not getting very good sleep. So it's important to make time for naps during the day. If you need to take time off of work, that's a good idea. And then hydration. The trillions of cells in our body bathe in water, and so when that isn't the case, those cells can shrivel up. They become dehydrated to the point where they can even die in severe dehydration. So when you've got multiple injuries, you've got a broken bone, that those cells being bathed in water is even more crucial. So make sure that you stay hydrated. So, if you can get in 2 to 3 liters of water a day, that's great. Number 3 is stress. So not only emotional stress, but physical stress. So again, kind of the same thing with sleep. When your body is in a state of stress, again, that optimizing healing isn't going to take place as it would if you were going to, chill out and de-stress. So that's really important to, if you have to take time off work or whatever you need to do to be in a calm state. And then physical stress as well. So for me, I take a short walk, maybe around the block every day. That's all I'm doing for exercise. I'll probably wait. It'll probably be a couple of weeks, maybe a little longer before I get back on a stationary bike and doing some form of physical activity, because again, I have multiple injuries. I've got a broken bone, and the body needs to be in a state of rest. So I start putting that physical stress on top of that. And it's going to be different for everybody, depending on your level of injury, depending on what your fitness condition was before your accident. That's going to be different for everybody. So for me, I was, my level of fitness was, it was gaining. So I feel like going out for a short walk every day is fine. I know yesterday I went out for a short walk and I could tell it was too much. I turned around and went home. I could just feel I just needed to rest. So watch your stress levels. And then, number 4, I want to talk about diatomaceous earth. And so if you're like me and you're hearing diatomaceous earth maybe for the first time I heard about it, it was an ingredient in a recipe for my homemade toothpaste. And I looked into it, and traditionally, diatomaceous earth has been used as, stay with me, an insecticide. What it is diatoms are mined out of seabeds, and they're basically shells that, if you think of like plankton or things like that, when they're at the end of their life and the shells sink to the bottom of the seabed, so those things are mined. They're formed into a powder, sprinkled around, you know, your pets or your plants. And if you look at them microscopically, they're very sharp. They're jagged and they're sharp. And so the pests or the insects are exposed to those, and it kills them. And if you're a hardcore vegan, you might be thinking, that's not very vegan, but stay with me. People have found that when consuming food-grade diatomaceous earth, so you take the powder, you put about a teaspoon in a little shot glass of water and kick it back, they have found that many symptoms have been cleared up. And what the theory is that people can have parasites. And so by taking the diatomaceous earth, it cuts up the parasites, eliminates the parasites, and you no longer have some of these, you know, different symptoms. For me, I decided to go ahead and start taking diatomaceous earth probably about 5 years ago. And I noticed immediately that my night sweats went away. Now, I started getting night sweats when I was 30 years old. Every single night, night sweats, sometimes intense, sometimes not so bad, but every night, night sweats, to the point where I sometimes have to get up at night and change my clothes, scrub myself off, dry myself down, because you can't lay there and sleep in a puddle of sweat. It was very annoying, and my doctor didn't know what it was, said not to worry about it unless I wanted to experiment with some, you know, hormone therapy. So, tried the diatomaceous earth. I wasn't expecting it to make my night sweats go away, but that's what happened. My night sweats went away, and they've never come back. I took the diatomaceous earth for about 2 weeks, about a teaspoon a day. The night sweats went away, and they've never been back. So maybe I had a parasite. I don't know. I mean, I'll never know, but I don't have night sweats anymore, and I'm thankful for that. My nails I didn't even recognize my hands when I was taking that either. It's silica. It's the diatomaceous earth is primarily silica, like 80%, I think. And so very good for your hair and your nails and your teeth and your bones. So I thought, since I still had some of this diatomaceous earth in my cupboard, I bought mine on Amazon. It wasn't very much. I just got a little packet, and I still have it. I mean, I probably go through a teaspoon every 4 months when I make my toothpaste. So I started taking about a teaspoon of that again every day to promote healing in my broken clavicle. So those are my tips for promoting healing for a broken bone. And I also just want to add that I did visit a orthopedist. I went and had a follow-up with an orthopedist. They took an x-ray, and I did ask, what are the chances that this injury, this broken bone, was a result of weak bones? And the reason I asked that was because one of the first things that went through my head when I had my accident was that somebody from the non-vegan collective is going to accuse me of, you know, this wouldn't have happened if you'd have been drinking your milk or something along that line. And actually that hasn't happened. Nobody has said that, but I have a feeling they're thinking it. Anyway, so I asked him, and he said, well, you know, from this type of an x-ray, I can't tell your actual bone density, but there are no red flags. Your bones look really healthy. They can look at an x-ray and see, you know, if a person with osteoporosis or osteopenia, they can, you know, there are some red flags just by looking at the bones. He said, my bones look very healthy. He said that this is a very common cycling injury, broken collarbone, very common. So yeah. So don't, if you're thinking about riding your bike, don't let this scare you. Yes, cycling can be dangerous. If you do have osteoporosis or osteopenia, it might not be the best activity for you. I would suggest, if that's the case, join a gym. Get a gym membership and start doing some light weight training. That's the best thing you can do. Remember that our bones, they remodel throughout the entire course of your life. They rebuild. They're constantly rebuilding. So you have different bones today than you had 6 years ago. And you can speed up that process with weight training, with resistance training. So join a gym, do some weight training. You know, if you're simply afraid to get on a bike because you're afraid you're going to crash, And wear your helmet if you're going to ride a bike. I've had 3 crashes in the last 2 years, and I have hit my head all 3 times, and I've got dents on my helmet to prove it. So always wear your helmet. I used to say, you know, oh, I'm just going on the trail, I don't need to wear my helmet, and I only wear my helmet if I'm going to be on the road. But this last accident was on the trail, and I broke my collarbone, and I cracked my head really hard. So I was really thankful that I was wearing a helmet. But yeah, if you're thinking about riding your bike, or you just started riding your bike, don't let this scare you into thinking that cycling is too dangerous. Just make sure you're wearing your helmet. Make sure when you're going around blind corners that you slow down, stay to the right, and announce yourself, and really go slow around those corners. That's the best thing you can do. That's what I'll be doing from now on. I will get back on my bike. It's going to be a couple of months before I do. I won't get in nearly as much cycling this summer as I had hoped to. But there's always next year, and there's this fall too. We might have a really nice fall, and I'll get to do some riding this fall. So we'll see. So if this was helpful for you, I hope you'll click the like button. If you know somebody you think it could be helpful for, go ahead and share it. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And thank you for watching.